So I have to be honest with you. I'll be leaving for Vietnam in a few weeks where I'll be spending 2 to 3 months in Da Nang. Now, I woke up this morning feeling kind of stressed and pretty overwhelmed with all of the things that have to get done before such a big trip. So in today's video, I thought I would take you through all of the things on the to-do list that I can check off now and get out of my head to prepare myself for this trip. I hope this video will help you see all the things that need to get done before your trip, as well as show you that all the things are pretty quick and easy to check off the list. You just have to actually do them. If you do find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new around here, hi, welcome. My name's Megan, and on this channel I share weekly videos with travel hacks and tips, so hopefully you'll consider subscribing and join me again next week. To kick things off, I'm going to head to the Canadian government website and then go to the Vietnam section. There's nothing out of the ordinary for Vietnam. Petty crime, which I talk about in a recent video about scams to avoid if you're interested. I am a little bit concerned about the coronavirus, although there's no mention of it here. I will be avoiding layovers in any Chinese cities on the way. I'm also going to make sure that I'm up to date on all my vaccinations. Yellow fever, I believe, expires every 5 years, so I do need to double check on that one, and if I'm due it, I will be booking an appointment with the travel clinic today. Another one I need to get is just my annual flu shot, which in Canada you can walk by pretty much any pharmacy and they'll do it for you for free on the spot. I just have to actually do it. I have a horrible fear of needles. It's so irrational, and I always get them. Ugh. I'll also follow the link to register my trip with the government, so if there's any trouble, they'll know where to find me and how to get in touch. I'll leave the link for Canadians and Americans to do this down below. It's not necessary that you register your trip with the government, but it takes 2 minutes and it's completely free, so why not? Next is very important. I'll be applying for my e-visa. Definitely check the visa processing times and requirements for your specific trip well in advance. Because I'm staying in Vietnam longer than a month, I need to apply around 5 business days minimum in advance to my arrival and then pay the $25 e-visa application fee online. The first time I went to Vietnam, I didn't give myself this 5 business days, and I ended up having to rebook all of my flights to arrive in Vietnam at a later date. So definitely check the visa processing times that you need and make sure you give enough time and don't wait for the last minute on this one. Next, I'll make sure I have everything that I need for when I actually arrive in Vietnam. In addition to the $25 processing fee for my application, I also have to bring $20 with me in cash. I'll also need to have 2 passport photos that are sized 4 by 6 centimeters, and there's something else. Oh, the visa application printed. It's going to be emailed to you after you've applied for it. And then also make sure that you have at least 6 weeks valid in your passport and 2 empty pages at a minimum. I have my photos printed and ready to go, and then I'm also going to go onto my Google Calendar and set a reminder for 1 week from today to actually print my visa letter once I receive it in my inbox. Next, I'll be calling my bank to make an appointment to withdraw that $20 as well as more USD, so when I arrive in Vietnam, I have it on me and can go to a foreign exchange counter and exchange the money for Vietnamese dong. I often get asked how I access my money while I'm abroad and how I avoid the highest fees. So it really depends on the country that I'm going to. For Vietnam in particular, ATM fees are very high, and then ATM withdrawal limits are very low. So it can end up costing you between $7 and $10 every time you take money out of the ATM. And then the amount of money that you're taking out is very minimal. It can end up costing a lot if you're paying for something big like your hotel stay or an apartment stay or deposit in Vietnamese dong. So for Vietnam in particular, I like to withdraw US dollars and then exchange it at a foreign currency exchange counter once I arrive. While I'm at the bank withdrawing this money, I will also let the bank know of my travel dates and my travel destinations so they don't lock me out of my bank account for the times that I do need to use an ATM, use my debit card, or use my credit card online. Still on the topic of money, I'm going to head to my Transferwise account and make sure that I know the login and the password, because it's been a while since I've used it, and that I'm fully confident in how to use it and could explain it simply to a landlord while showing them. Many landlords will not accept an online transfer. It's a very cash-based economy. However, I don't like having to make that much Vietnamese dong, and then also when you pay in cash, there's no paper trail that you paid it, you may not get your deposit back, it's just more issues. I've had success working with landlords to pay them by bank transfer using Transferwise instead of having to pay them in Vietnamese dong. This will likely be new for the landlord you're working with, so having all of your ducks in a row and being able to pull up your Transferwise and then show them exactly how and when they will get paid ups your chances of the landlord accepting your payment by transfer instead of by cash. Transferwise has the best exchange rates and then much lower fees when you're making a transfer than another company like PayPal would. If you've never used Transferwise before, definitely check it out, and then I have a link down below that's going to give you your first transfer absolutely free. Next, I will be booking my travel insurance. Now, I never travel without travel insurance, and I also don't worry about the cost anymore since I started using SafetyWing because it's less than $1.50 a day. It's so worth it. Since I know my specific travel dates, I'm going to get set up today and then print my confirmation and policy number. SafetyWing is linked below if you want any more information on their insurance, but regardless of who you book with, just make sure that you book with someone. Also, try to do this in advance because most companies will require you to book your travel insurance before you actually leave the country. Next, I will be clearing out my wallet and then removing any cards that I don't need to bring with me, as well as checking the expiry dates on cards that I will be bringing with me, like my Visa, my debit, my health card, and my driver's license. I definitely don't need to bring things like my bus pass or my gym card with me. This is just taking up unnecessary space. And then for any loyalty programs that I'm a part of, I don't need to have the physical card. I actually use a free app that's called StoCard. This is very cool. It basically digitalizes all of your loyalty cards and puts them on your phone so you can have the barcode scanned directly from your phone. You don't need the card with you and you can still collect your points. It's free to use. It's just an app that I absolutely love. Next, I'm going to do something that I only recently discovered was even an option, and it ended up saving me a few $100s on my last trip. I'm going to call my internet and phone provider to suspend service for the duration of time that I'm away. With my phone provider, it's TELUS in Canada, so it's like AT&T in the US. I can actually have them put my phone number on hold while I'm away for a fee of $10 a month, as opposed to the regular charges of $60+ that I would be paying to have full service on the phone. If you're traveling, you're probably not going to be using your cell phone unless you want hundreds or thousands of dollars in roaming fees. So definitely contact your cell phone provider and see if you can put your phone on hold. Same goes for your internet and your cable, maybe your gym membership, even your car insurance. Get creative, think outside the box. Anything that you pay for monthly, you may be able to pause if it's worth it for the length of your trip. Next, I'll be confirming my flight and my accommodations, add them to my trip and itinerary, and then also print out and pack the confirmations in my bag now so I don't forget them. I was in touch with a landlord that I previously stayed with and organized my full stay in advance. If you don't have this option, definitely book at least your first night of accommodation. You'll likely be asked during your visa application and most likely both. You'll be asked when you arrive at the airport to fill in your address for the time that you'll be spending in the country. So definitely have this address available and booked in advance. Have a printed copy if you need it, or saved on your phone somewhere where you can access it. A few other personal to-dos on my list, which may or may not apply to you, include calling to have my prescriptions topped up now, and then to make sure that I have enough for the entire time I'm away. Plus a little bit of extra just in case plans change. Think of any pills, creams, or even your contact lenses that you may need to stock up on prior to leaving for your trip, and then order them now. I'm also going to call a local spa and then have them book an appointment to have my eyelashes dyed. So as a natural blonde, I have pretty much white eyelashes if I'm not wearing mascara, and when I'm in Vietnam, I do not plan on wearing any makeup. So it's just a personal thing. I like to have them dyed, and I will be booking this appointment today. I'll also be making sure that my Grab account, which is just like Uber or Lyft, is up to date so that I know my login. This way I can get to my accommodations from the airport without having to worry about any taxi meter scams. I'll also back up my hard drive and my computer files to the cloud. I'll also be backing up the photos on my phone and then clearing them off my phone so I have space for new memories, and then I won't lose everything if something were to happen to my phone while I'm away. I'll also be heading to celiactravel.com, where I'll be printing off their Vietnamese celiac gluten-free restaurant card. This is going to tell the hotel, cafe, restaurant staff in Vietnamese things that I can't have included in the meal that they're serving me. I'll also take a screenshot of this so I always have it on my phone, and then I'll go and I'll look for some Google images of things I know I can't have and then take a screenshot of that with an X over it to make it very clear if a restaurant owner wasn't able to read the Vietnamese restaurant card or if I wasn't able to communicate what I could or couldn't have. This way they can see it visually. And then this afternoon, while I'm out getting my flu shot, I will also take a trip to stop by the local dollar store because I always like to pick up just a few little Canadian things like a moose stuffy or maple candy and then bring it with me for my friends in Vietnam. It's such a small gesture and it doesn't cost me a lot of money, but it's always fun to get things from a foreign country, especially when that country is the other side of the world. While I'm at the dollar store, I'll also pick up some non-perishable snacks for the airplane ride, as well as gum because when you chew it, it helps with your ears popping on takeoff and landing. Those are pretty much all of the things that I need to and can do a few weeks before I actually leave for my trip. And there are definitely lots of things that I'll need to do either the night before or the day before I actually leave. I have a checklist linked down below with all the information if you're interested in that. The final thing that I can do today, well in advance of leaving, is making a list of all the things that I either couldn't find or had trouble finding the last 2 years that I was in Vietnam. I'll either go to the store and buy these or, the more likely case, just put the order in on Amazon so I have it ready to go now. Next week, I'll be sharing a list of all of the things that I regretted not bringing with me when I went to Vietnam last year. Where I'm going in Da Nang is a big city and you can buy most things when you arrive, but not everything. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful, and then let me know in the comments down below where you're going and how you're feeling about the trip in general. I also have a few handy checklists down there if you're interested. Hope to see you back here again next week, and until then, happy travels. Bye.